Philadelphia Eagles fans, buckle up. The 2026 season is about to get scary. Jalen Hurts steps into a pivotal year with a completely new offense under Sean Mannion, and locker room insiders are saying this system is going to unlock something special in DeVonta Smith and the entire attack. With Saquon Barkley powering the run game, a stacked defense, and exciting additions like Makai Lemon, the Birds are built for something big. Can Jalen Hurts and this new offense finally create a miracle and bring a Super Bowl back to Philadelphia? Smash that like button if you're all in on Hurts redemption year. Drop your boldest Super Bowl prediction in the comments and subscribe so you never miss the ride.
Do you want to ask you this? And Brian, you can follow who wins the division, since you're saying the Super Bowl winning Cowboys can make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they could make it as a wild card, but it has to be Philadelphia. Until I see someone beat Jalen Hurts, it can't be proven otherwise.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because, whether or not the quarterback likes the offense obviously is important, but really what you want to do is create a system that benefits everyone. And, you mentioned the potential quarterback decisions that the Philadelphia Eagles face down the road. Yeah, I think it's fair to say it's a really big year for Jalen Hurts. After this year, he is out of guaranteed money. That huge contract that he signed several years ago becomes, I would say, a little more year by year. And the Philadelphia Eagles, considering the overall talent on the roster, considering the unbelievable expectations of the fan base, if they do not believe at the end of this year that Jalen Hurts is the only person that can get them to the Super Bowl and to win it, then they will have some decisions to make. So really what it seems they've done is say, we're going to go find the best offense we can, best offense no matter what, and say, does our quarterback fit into this offense or not? He is certainly, after the kind of year and the criticism and everything that Jalen Hurts got last year, certainly seems like this should be something where he would dive into, invest into, try to be the best player he could. And if you get to the end of the year, Tom, and everything is great and they're winning and he gets brought back another year, he's probably getting another extension anyway. Huge year coming for Jalen Hurts and this offense.
We're going to start with the Eagles. The team that won this division. We still don't know what's going to happen to A.J. Brown, who's just getting married. We don't know if he's going to take the field, though. They got a ton of wide receivers. What are you giving the Eagles for their offseason grade?
Hey guys, good to see you. Even despite the fact that A.J. Brown probably won't be on this Eagles team when the season starts, I'm giving them an A because Howie Roseman is one of the best GMs in football, and we saw it again during the offseason, free agency, and the draft. They went out and signed Reek Woolen. That's a huge need in terms of the secondary. They traded for Jonathan Goedert during draft weekend, leaving Vikings fans wondering what in the world is going on. And then they absolutely crushed it in the draft. They stole Makai Lemon away from my Steelers. You can see here Eli Stowers, when they had to run on the tight ends in this draft. Eli Stowers went 54. He's more of a slot receiver in terms of the way he plays and what he did at Vanderbilt. Markel Bell is going to be the next in line potentially after Lane Johnson, and he needs probably a year or two to be that player. He's enormous. He blocks out the sun, but the upside it feels like the type of gambles that the Eagles take. Now, the big issue for me, Emery, is Sean Mannion, who isn't on this list. He's the new offensive coordinator. Every other offensive coordinator over the last 5 or so have knocked it out of the park. The other ones, not so much, and that's why Sean Mannion is now in town. So that will ultimately decide where they go. But A for me, based on what we've seen so far.
I give it a B. I do love the draft. I thought they nailed the draft like you talked about. I hate the fact that they moved on from Reed Blankenship. I hate the conversation right now of moving Cooper DeJean to safety as opposed to letting him go out there and rock out that corner like he has always done. But the reason why I'm also going B is because there's no more Stoutland University. Jeff Stoutland, the longtime offensive line coach that just kept that offensive line looking as consistent as it can be and was a developmental machine of prospects that he brought in. He's retired. So we don't know what an offensive line looks like without Jeff Stoutland's tutelage up front. So that to me is concerning. And also, anytime you lose a great playmaker like an A.J. Brown or potentially lose a great playmaker like an A.J. Brown, I don't care who you backfill it with, there will still be some sort of a void there. So those things drop it from an A to a B.
I appreciate, Emery, that you brought up Reed Blankenship because selfishly I am sad that I'm not going to say it on air, but that they split up the exciting dubs. I'm just going to say that because Cooper DeJean does not have his partner. Ryan, what? It's true. They were so good together. Even if fans couldn't tell them apart, I will say that the Eagles win total is set at 10.5 right now.
Here on the Footy Interchange Exchange, how many of the Eagles' next 5 can they win? So give me a yes or a no. So Collingwood away.
No.
Essendon at home.
Yes.
Port Adelaide at home.
Yes.
North Melbourne as an away game at Optus Stadium.
Beat them earlier this year, yes.
And Carlton away.
No, probably not that one, but...
So you got potentially 3 wins in that period.
It depends where Carlton's at. So if Carlton struggle the next few weeks, then they could have their teething problems, new coach, and they might be in exploration mode by then, where they're looking at bringing in some younger talent. So it could be a good situation for West Coast.
So if they win those 3 of those games, and they're on 6 wins for the season, then how do you reflect on the Eagles, I guess, coming off a 1-win year to, if they could get up to as many as 6, that'd be a massive tick.
It's a massive outcome for them. Yeah, there's been those disappointing games, but, if they could win 3 or 4 out of their next 5 or 6, that's huge for West Coast, which would mean, there's some improvement. What I liked about West Coast on the weekend, they made some tough calls on high draft picks, didn't they? Elijah Hewitt, no, you're not coming straight back in. Bo Allen, you're out. And they gave some opportunity to players who, in my opinion, probably weren't quite ready, but they're making those tough calls on high draft picks to make sure that they have the right habits when they come back.
So what's today's date?
Today's 22nd.
Okay,
May 22nd,
so 10 days from now, AJ Brown's a Patriot, right?
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
Music to my ears. Talk to me.
Tom?
10 days from now opens the window for the Eagles to make a final decision that every arrow has been pointing toward with the Patriots, the most likely team. They still have to finalize what that trade is going to look like. In the past several weeks, from what I've understood, there have not been much, if any, communication between the sides. I would certainly anticipate that re-engagement starts next week. That it comes down to, what are the Patriots willing to give up? And is there any other team to potentially push that compensation for the Eagles? It certainly sounds like June 1st is a Monday. As of 4 p.m. Eastern time, the cap calculations change dramatically in terms of making A.J. Brown trade. Hard to imagine it goes much beyond that, but if Howie does not have the deal on the table that he wants, Howie can extend this for as long as he chooses to.
Or not at all. Don't extend it at all. Just put him back on the field for the Philadelphia Eagles and deal with Makai Lemon. See what I mean? Like, you even give me a cock in the head. Like, I don't know if he's going to be able to pull that one off.
Hard to imagine.
Okay.
Hard to imagine at this point it goes that way. But yeah, I mean, anything's possible here. They, had kind of a mutual agreement with A.J. Brown that he would stay away during the voluntary portions of the offseason. If a trade is not done prior to their mini camp, they certainly could excuse him from that as well. I wouldn't think we get anything close to A.J. Brown on the field in an Eagles uniform again, even if the trade somehow doesn't come through. I just don't anticipate that being the case until training camp at least. We still got a couple of months to sort that out, and odds are it's not going to take that long.
No, it certainly seems like right now we're still in a little bit of a waiting period between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New England Patriots. And of course, it should be reiterated that the Patriots seem as of now like the most likely destination for A.J. Brown. They have Mike Vrabel. They have a team that has certainly had plenty of talks with the Philadelphia Eagles over A.J. Brown, and the other team that was probably most interested, that Brown wanted to go to, the Los Angeles Rams, are really no longer in the mix. It just remains to be seen when they can get to a point where they're at a good place with the compensation, right? Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to want a first-round pick from 2027, which realistically was what they've wanted all along. The Patriots would like to pay less. And so you say, well, okay, well, the Eagles obviously have to get rid of him. Maybe they do plan to get rid of him, but it doesn't have to be right now. The Patriots would like to have him, but that doesn't have to be right now. Once you get past June 1st, the window is basically open for whenever these two sides can get to a deal. I don't get the sense there's any sort of like secret deal where they hit the button and say, okay, go. They're going to have to negotiate. They're going to have to figure out a middle ground to get A.J. Brown from the Eagles to the New England Patriots. Until then, as Howie Roseman likes to say, he's still a member of the Eagles.